There we go. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? Thanks for joining me. Whoa, the background is... okay, never mind. Okay, hi. Let me pop out the chat over here 1 second so I can look at you. There we go. Hi. Okay, let's see who else is here. Oh, this pop-up is kind of over the names right now. Isa, hi Isa, hi Andrej from Poland, hi Thomas from Czech Republic, hi Jens from Spain, how are you doing? Hi Pavel from Wuppertal, Hermann from the Low Countries. What are the Low Countries? Hi Michael from Aachen, thanks for joining, pretty awesome. Okay, I think the light is better, it kind of depends where my hand is, right? Ooh, okay, I hope it's gonna get better over time. Hi Karen from Montreal. Hi Jason from, hi everyone, Illinois. Okay, Illinois. Okay, awesome. Hi Christian aus Wien. Nach Wien, from Frankfurt. Okay, hi, thanks for joining. Philip from Slovakia, thanks for joining. Pavel, Niederlande, yes, okay, yes. Netherlands, I understand, okay. Or, is it? Is that what it means? Is that like a, I don't know. Hi Armstrong from Peter from Canada. Hi. Stuart from Scotland. Hi, how are you doing? The Netherlands. Okay, I've never heard that. This is like, is that something people say, the lower countries or the Netherlands? Robert is in Vienna. Hey, hi, how are you doing? Neighbor, basically. Chrysalia from London. Hi, how are you doing? Awesome. So many people here. Christian already unpacking the beer. Okay. Awesome. Hi, Joan from Belgium. How are you doing? All right. Awesome. So many people here. Okay. So today we want to keep it a little bit shorter, as people have pointed out, to like keep it in the time limit. So I want to go over to Affinity Photo basically right away and yeah, start editing. I'm super nervous today, to be honest. Manuel from Romania. Hi, how are you doing? I grew up saying the Netherlands. Okay. Just dude, hi. Nether means lower. Okay. Nether. Oh. I understand. That is why they say the nether regions. I thought that's, I don't know. Nether means something like mystery or something like that. Interesting. I had no idea. Okay. Hi, Stefano. Hi, Piotr from Poland. Hi. Hi, Herman. Colloquially means Netherlands and Belgium. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Wow. Hi, Andreas. Oh, okay. By the way, thank you again, Trude. This is your coffee again. By the way, it was something I can really suggest to you is to get some grinded cinnamon and then put it. You can basically put it on everything. It's good in coffee. It's good with meat when you like fry meat and put a little bit of cinnamon on it. It tastes great with everything. With your, I don't know, breakfast cereal, stuff like that. It's always good. Hi, Nick from Canada. How are you doing? All right, so let's get started. By the way, today I want to look at another picture that we edited last time because I got kind of insecure about that arm situation. I thought I'd kind of research it in the meantime, but then I didn't really have time to do that. So today I got so nervous about that. It's just a little detail. Don't even think it's that important, but it kind of, I don't know. So I decided on another picture I feel a lot better about. And I thought we can explore different versions on how to make that look interesting, right? Okay. By the way, if you haven't checked out my last video, I talk about different ways to guide the eye of the viewer. So that's interesting. We will apply some of these techniques also today. So we have a little bit more of an applied version of that. Did I already say Nick? Hi, Nick from Canada and Roy from Carson City. Hi, how are you doing? So I'm going to switch over to wie viel Liter Kaffee passen rein? That's a good question. More than half a liter, I'm sure. I would say like 700 milliliters, something like that. It's pretty much because I have like this IKEA glass tea can, which is really big, and I think it holds about 1.5 liters, and this takes half of that, so I would say around that. It's a lot. But it's not as much coffee as it is water and milk. So I make a double shot, as they say, like double espresso, and then I fill the rest up with milk and water. Yeah. Okay. Let's wait a second. Let me close the chat so I can see this over here. Very nice. And then I will switch over my screen so you can see what I'm doing. Boom. There we go. And I decided on this picture, like I was also looking at the other picture before and playing around with the different things we can do. But this is a lot cleaner, and I kind of have a better idea what I want to do with that. So maybe let's play around with that and just create different versions of that, right? Aus dem großen Topf. It basically is a big pot of coffee. It can't be big enough. Yeah, it's kind of the American style maybe, but also like it's nice when you sit there for hours and you have like a coffee to drink for these many hours. It's pretty good. Hi Sam, thank you very much. Happy starting day coffee. Yeah. All right. By the way, I don't know if you have this in the US or Canada or something like that, but we have something. It's called Malzkaffee. We called it Oma Cafe when I was young. 1 second, Malzkaffee. Oh, it's called Caro Cafe. Yeah, Caro Cafe. That's it. Okay, that's not an advertisement for that company, but still, this here, it's made from malt. It's not coffee, so it doesn't have any of the coffee ingredients. Here it says Getreidekaffee. It's made from these yeast. Is it yeast? I don't know. 1 second. Getreide. I don't drink that, but I was just reminded, like, if you drink too much coffee, you might want to try this. Corn coffee, I don't know. Might look that up. And it's called, I call it Oma Cafe because as an old person, you can also drink it. It's actually healthy to drink this one instead of normal coffee. It doesn't have caffeine in it, although you don't get it doesn't wake you up. All right. Let's get back to... Okay, there we have a stream. Hi, Wojtek. Thanks for joining. Hi, Pierre. And also, of course, we will do the review of the weekly work, but let's have a look at this first. So I was thinking about, let's go first through Nik Collection color effects, because this is like, as you know, I have this process where I start out in Photolab to do the starting adjustments. Like, for example, I removed how do you say, marks on the skin, like these here, this one. You can't see it. Okay, you know what I mean. These dark spots on the skin and other like imperfections, I removed that from the skin and also from the arm down here a little bit. And we have to fix that area here. Didn't fix that. And then there's a lot of goosebumps. We could fix that, but we don't have to, because maybe I crop it up here so we don't even see the arms. And there's also a little bit of a tattoo left over here. I haven't fixed that either. So I try to get to the point where we have left off last time, but just with a different picture. And then we can try out different kind of looks and stuff and also go over. Okay, we should open Pinterest again. We can have a look at that, Pinterest. And by the way, also something we can talk about today is that I'm really thinking about the focus of my channel. Because I'm realizing that a lot of people don't, like, I was talking with someone else, another photographer from Austria, and he was, you're that guy for the fantasy composites that I do on my Instagram, as you know. Let's have a look there. This is like different. It's not specifically portrait, although, whoops, I'm sorry. Okay, go away. There we go. Although we do often have people in there, it's not specifically a portrait picture often. And like this is not a portrait. This. I wouldn't say this is a portrait. It has a person in it. It's not a portrait, I would say. So And I feel like my channel is a little bit all over the place. Like I have like recently I did this architecture thing, and then there is a little bit of portrait, and then there is a little bit of this and that, and it's like sometimes it's a landscape but in a realistic way, and then it's fantasy editing, completely like non-realistic, and blemishes. Yes, that's the word. Thank you, Claire. And like, so I would like to do portraits, but I could combine that in a way where there are these fantasy composite portraits, right? So where the person is like more involved in the situation. Is there any good example here? Like this, for example, with the wolf. I kind of hit the photo and just have the video now, but I think you can remember this with the guy. He's kind of floating in the air, and then we have this bear in the background, stuff like that. Or this one, for example, here, stuff like this could be interesting, right? The question why I also ask me that is because ask myself that question is because of gear. Because I'm looking into getting more like light gear to photograph, like flashes and all this kind of stuff, and that's pretty expensive, and you have to decide what you want to do with that, because if you buy all the indoor gear for studio portraits, and then you want to do stuff like this, I don't know, like stuff like this maybe here, and then you realize, oh, but I want to do outdoor stuff, then it's like, you have wasted a lot of money. So yeah, I don't think my community is necessarily into this portrait stuff too much, but more into composite stuff, right? Yes, I also want to do some courses. That's right. Yeah. I always get very nervous when I do the courses because I want to cover a lot of material, but then I realize it's way too much material that I'm covering, and also I'm getting way too complicated, and people want to have that beginner stuff, but it's harder for me to understand what beginners need. So for me, it's always like I have that thing where if I explain stuff that is too simple, I feel like it's like not worth the money, although it is worth the money. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, if you learn to drive a car, of course you need to learn how to shift the gear and how to park the car and how to set the blinking light to go around the corner. You need to learn that. And those are beginner steps. And of course, if you have driven a car for 10 years, you're not gonna pay for a course like that. But if you want to make the driving license, you want to pay for that, because this is what you don't know yet. You know, right? So yeah, it's kind of I need to figure that out. Where this kind of overlaps, and to get a bit more specific, a bit more niche about the things that I'm doing. Because it's kind of wishy-washy. It's a little bit here, it's a little bit there. And you know from the works that I do myself that they have kind of an area where they are all going, right? So yeah. For example, I never edit my holiday vacation pictures, because I only edit pictures project based, right? Okay, but long talk. Let's go back here to this. Composite, beginner composite, then advanced composition. Beginner composition and advanced composition. Yeah, that would be good, right? To just and I'm also thinking about what could I do with that. And I've looked at some other channels. Sorry, let's switch over one second. Just talk about that for 1 second. I have looked at other channels who do similar things. And what they are doing, what I find is really interesting, is that they like make their own photo shootings, and then they make a video about that, what they have created, and then they make a course about the whole project, and you also get the materials that they have shot, all the stuff that is included, and so people can edit that shot with the raw files and stuff like that, and you have a course for this specific project, right? So you learn about some specific problem and the solution to that, and you have some material with that to do some training around that and get better around that, right? So that sounds really useful, right? And it also sounds interesting to prepare, because I found it's kind of hard to get good overlays if you want to do this fantasy stuff or these composites. And to create these kind of overlays would also be interesting, I think, you know, as packages. Maybe then the course also has a theme like that. And there's a lot of different things you can do, like flowers and hair and clothing and a lot of different kinds of overlays, right, that you can use. Or I don't know, there's a lot of flames. What else could there be? You know, stuff that you, crowns, things that you can put on people and stuff like that, right? Also backdrops. I found really interesting, like Riley, like high quality digital backdrops where you can put a person into that and it's already prepared in a way where you can just like put the person there, and you have a little bit of a video or a course with that to show how would you photograph the person so it fits perspectively into that background and its surroundings. So that could be also interesting. Yeah. So these are some things I'm thinking about at the moment. Test group and give feedback. Yeah, that would also be interesting to make a test group or a test project, a smaller test project, to see where stuff like that could go. Let me know in the chat if you think that's an interesting idea. Because right now, a thing that's also kind of bugging me is that I create videos where I think, wow, they would be really interesting. But then, of course, my community is not in that area. So the video doesn't really get that many views, although it's a really interesting topic. For example, like a lot of the stuff, as you can see again on my, you can't see it right now, but that I do is very colorful. And then if I do black and white video photos, videos about black and white photography, not that many people are interested because that's just not my community, because I have built a community around these colorful pictures, right? So maybe I should leave that out and rather focus on these other things, right? And explain more about these things you can do there. For example, like straightening hair and all these kind of different things, right? So that might be interesting. Shadi says, right now you're giving us several different places to go. If you get too specific, you may lose some of your followers. Yes, that's right, but maybe you also gain more followers, right? When you get more specific. Because that is also like the classic mistake is to build a business that tries to please everybody, and then you are an expert of nothing and people don't know, people don't really, you can't go to depth, is what I mean, right? So for example, imagine a business where you make websites for companies, and you do websites for whoever comes through the door. It could be a lawyer, it could be a kindergarten, it could be a yoga retreat, it could be a restaurant for, I don't know, Thai food or something. How would you know all these backgrounds? How would you understand all of that stuff? That kind of doesn't seem like likely, you know? So if you would say, okay, I make websites, but only for, let's say, yoga teachers who give yoga to women, nobody else, just women, right? And you can be really specific in that area, right? What kind of requirements do they have? What kind of interests do they have? And then you can prepare these tools, and the customers know you are the expert in that area. And because you serve an international community anyways, there's always going to be customers that are interested in that way, right? And you can prepare a lot, you know, because every area that you want to explore is really, really hard to understand and to get good at. So you have to focus at one area to be like, to get better at that area, right? Because like it's the same like if you do something in your free time, like if you learn piano but you play classical and then also like jazz and blues and also like, I don't know, pop piano and stuff like that, you can't be good at all of them. You have to decide on one where you want to go deeper with that and be known for that, right? I think this is also why you don't see many musicians who play around in different areas and do like, I don't know, classic music. They sing in the opera and then afterwards they give a metal concert. That doesn't really happen because like it's really hard to just be good at one of these things, right? Okay, enough talk. Let's switch over. I haven't looked at the chat. I hope as people are still here. Boom, there we go. Okay, this is kind of dark. I don't know. It looks always dark on my screen, but maybe it's brighter for you. What is really lacking out there is instructions and ideas for the mid-grade users. Yeah, that's true. that's absolutely true. I also find that true, not also technically from how to edit pictures, but also from the gear. This is like the biggest problem. If someone would be out there and make a channel about photo gear that is for mid-range users, that would be perfect. Because you only ever find videos where they say, oh, this is like the cheapest DIY studio light. I don't want that. I want to have something that I can afford and is good. And then you have these other guys like, who is that really famous photo YouTuber? And he always shows you gear you can never afford in a million years. What's his name? Let's enter just Photoshop here. I'm sure he's gonna pop up first. No, he doesn't actually. Interesting. Who's that guy? Oh my God, what the hell is going on? Good you can't see that. Anyways, this kind of photography guy, he's really famous, really big, but he always shows you like gear where like it costs like $10,000 or something. And you're like, okay, nice for you that you can afford that, but I can't. Show me something I can afford, right? And I can work with. No, not Matt Granger. He's pretty cool. He shows you pretty good stuff. I can't remember this. What's his name? Let's see. No, wait a second. I can't remember right now. He made this music video with the Arctic sounds and stuff. What's his name? He pops up all the time. But just not now. Not now, of course. Doesn't work right now. Anyways. He has his friend is called Matti. I can remember that. Matti. And then who is the other guy? Matti and his buddy is I can't remember. But I think you know by now who I mean. And he always has like this, hey, here's my new backpack. It's just like $900 or something. Like, oh, what? What the hell are you talking about? How much money do you think we all have? You know? Yeah. Okay, anyways. Let's get started here. So I'm going to go to, like I said, I'm starting out usually with Photolab to clean up the picture and make some raw editing. And then I usually go into Nik Collection to apply some, okay, I already did it wrong because I have to do a duplicate here because this is destructive. Let's do duplicate. We could go to Reverser first, which is my second step that I'm doing. Because I told you I'm gonna do my workflow as a live stream. So you can have a look at that. So let's do some adjustments here. And I hope, like, I have the feeling my computer recently is very slow for some reasons. I don't know why. So I hope we don't have any problems like that today. But I mean, the problem is also this is very slow because it's very high resolution from the picture. So maybe it would be better if I made a low resolution version, but then again, I have to like redo everything afterwards, which also sounds a little bit strange. So let's try it like this and see how far we come. Let's make her face a little bit brighter here, give it some more structure. Woo, that's too much structure. Should we maybe make less structure? Yeah, let's make less structure. Okay, good. Let's have a click here on the hair. Can also make that a little bit brighter. There we want to have more structure. Maybe not. This is also like, as you can see, I have a lot of things I still also want to learn. I also want to figure out. One thing is how to get like hair look really nice, like this kind of advertisement, beautiful flowing hair looking really alive. Stuff like that would be interesting to figure out. I will keep guessing. Peter McKinnon, yes, that's the guy, Peter McKinnon. I feel like he and this other guy, they always show you gear like which is really expensive and you can't really use for yourself. And it's cool to look at that, of course. I like the videos, but I can't really do something with that. If I want to buy a studio light and he says, yeah, he has a video about that. Oh, I only use one light. Guess what? It costs like $5,000 or something. Oh, good for you. How does this help me? You know, doesn't help me. I'm sorry. I don't want to badmouth him or something. I really like his videos. It's just like I would like to have a channel that says, okay, here's something like if you spend $1,000, you get everything, you know, like the softbox and the light and the stand and everything you need, and you can just start with that, and that's a good starting deal. You know what I mean? So that would be a lot more helpful. What else do we have to do here, by the way? I think I'm talking too much and doing too little right now. I think we could maybe make this, should we make this a little bit darker in here? 1 second, let's see. No. I don't want to have too much attention on that. Let's keep it like that maybe. And then, oh, I said about cropping these parts down here. Oh, by the way, the skull, we can have a look at the skull. I want to have more structure on that. So he becomes a little bit harder. Oh no. Let me know if the stream is breaking up because of everything is like too much for the computer. Hi Alfredo from Mexico, how are you doing? I stopped following him. It's only advertising, really? Did he change? I mean, he always had like sponsors and stuff in there. He has some brand deals. I also realized that he's doing some stuff like a lot of like sponsored deals. I was not very satisfied with his presentation of the Canon camera because it sounded not that how do you say? Not that transparent, if you know what I mean. Like it had some problems. He made a follow-up video where he said, yes, there's some problems with this and that, and he didn't point that out in the last video, so he kind of corrected himself a little bit on that. Yeah, that's always problematic. Oh, what's going on here? Why is this not duplicating right now? Okay, I pressed the wrong button. There we go. Okay, that's better. So I think that should be, yeah, let's keep it like that. Okay, good. Okay, changed all of my power settings. I experienced the same problem with my computer. Must be a recent Windows update. Once I updated, oh, you think it's the power settings? But I have a desktop computer, so it should always be on like high power, right? Should we delete the other version? We can. I think we can delete that so we don't have that much stuff here. And then let me save this real quick. Save as, yeah, let's just save it like this. Okay, and you can see here, so this is size 4000 by 6000, and I'm streaming at the same time, so that also takes a lot of power from the computer, so maybe it's going to be a little bit slower. But let's see. Okay, let's go in here and then just try out different like versions of what this could look like. And the Nik collection is really great for that. I created one before I started the stream. I'm not sure if it's here. Wait, we have to go to my recipes, I think, here, custom. I created this one here. Now you can see this is a lot different. And you can also have this before and after, which I also like very much about Nik collection. It's right now, it's a lot brighter than before. Cord says, a video idea preparing a shot with mood board making, etc. Yeah, that would also be interesting, right? I was also thinking about maybe doing that or doing a planning session in a live stream, stuff like that. So you can see there is some parts here already in there, but we can start fresh. We don't have to use that, so we can go through the individual steps here. So you go to filters, and then you, of course, I have my favorites here. There's of course a lot more filters, but I usually use the same ones. So first one we could use is Pro Contrast. And this is nice because you can like adjust the white balance here, like it corrects the color cast. This is nice, removes the color cast a little bit. And then you can correct the contrast, and you can also correct the dynamic contrast, which is different from the contrast. So that's also nice. Let's see. And you can see that this is getting a little bit brighter and a little bit like more, like just like it's a brighter day, right? If you compare this, it's just like it looks interesting. This, although it seems a little bit blown out up here. Let's go up here. So this is a bit too much, as you can see. That's not good. Let's bring this back a little bit. Or maybe leave it like that. What should we do here? Let's turn this off. I mean, it's blown out anyways a little bit. Maybe I did that in Viveza. Could that be? Interesting. Oh, by the way, did I again forget to duplicate this? Yes. Okay, sorry for that. Let's duplicate this. Let's start fresh. Let's go in here, color effects. All right. Yes, that's Nick Collection. Yeah, so these are my usual steps in Affinity Photo to do this. Let's go in here again. Where is it? Pro Contrast. There we go. And it makes some things easier, and it also has the benefit that you just like get different adjustments that you don't necessarily have in Affinity Photo. Like for example, one that I really like is this cross processing here. Where is it? Cross processing. This one. You can see you get really nice results. And you can very quickly switch between these looks, you know? In Affinity Photo, it takes a million steps to just change these things, but here you just go through these different methods, and then you can adjust the strength also, and you can see how many different kind of versions you can get just from that, and see if there's something that might be interesting, something you can work with. Another one that I like is Photo Stylizer, this one, especially this one here, which is called Varitone, and then you have this #1 here. You also have the other ones, but I feel like #1 is most to my liking because it creates this very nice green, bluish green here, and then this kind of orange, so it's a little bit teal orange from the style, which is very nice. And as you can see, it doesn't really take much effort to do that. Let's go to the next one here, which is, in this case, we can use Dynamic Skin Softener, which is also nice. Can see here when I go to that area. Let's turn this off. You can see how this makes, look at these areas here, for example, in this area over here. When I turn this off and on, you see here, it makes this a lot softer, but in a nice classic way. This is the nice thing about that. There is like, we have to fix that. Maybe I should have fixed that beforehand, right? But anyways, today we're just like exploring different things, creating interesting looks. So that's already pretty nice. You can do a lot of settings here. Okay. The one thing I don't like about Nick Collection is that inside of these filters, you don't have presets apparently. And so it does have this menu, but it only says copy control points, reset filter, and reset, like keep CPs and delete CPs, which are control points, right? But you don't have presets inside of that, and that would be nice, right? And then we also can have here a little bit of glamour glow, so that would be the first look, and then we do some more processing in Affinity Photo. I don't find it. There it is. Okay, good. So let's see, that's a bit too much, I feel like. Let's go like this. Oh, and oh yeah, here we can go with a little bit more saturation, and you can set this to cooler or warmer. What do we want to do here? I feel like the cooler version is better because it separates out the orange and the blue a little bit more. Okay. We can also look here at the vignette. So it has different kinds of vignette. That's also nice. I don't think you have that. I mean, you kind of have that in Affinity Photo, but if you look here on these vignettes, you have, I actually have selected all of them. Sorry. You have a filter vignette, a blur vignette, and a lens vignette, which is interesting. So as you can see, we can go here, and you can adjust that here with the transition, how strong it should be. You can set the size to the outside and the opacity. And I feel like this looks a lot nicer than the one you find in Affinity. And also the good thing is here, for example, you can set the center point. And I don't think you can do that in Affinity Photo with the vignette, right? So this is why I often use like a custom vignette. Okay, what does the chat say? 1 second. Okay, there we go. So you can play around with that. But we can also draw that in. So I'm not going to use that right now, but we can have a look at the other one. So we have the blur vignette, which does the same thing, but it does, instead of making it dark, it makes a blur, right? So you can see that now we have this ellipse here, and then everything outside of the ellipse is blurred, and the inside is not blurred. So this is like a vignette, but just for blur. It's a little bit like the depth of field effect in Affinity Photo, right? And then also we have a lens vignette, and to be honest, I'm not sure what it does right now. Okay, this is just another form of vignette. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure what the difference is to the other one. It is different though. So you have different, there's an amount adjustment, positive, negative. And then you have a brightness adjustment for all of the pictures. So that's interesting. And then the size and the circle. And the other one, the filter vignette, has a shape. There's 4 different shapes in here. You can adjust the edges, the transition, and the size. So this is kind of different on what it does. You also have an opacity, but you don't have a brightness setting here. So you see the middle point is always the same brightness, while here I can set the brightness of overall of the picture, right? So that's interesting. Okay, but we're not going to use that right now. So let's leave it like this and make that the first look. And then we can also explore other looks. And then I do some more adjustment on that look here. By the way, should we remove that wristband? Is that in the way? It's kind of, maybe it's not that good to have that there, right? So do you find that your picture quality degrades if you move too much between photo processing software? That depends. Like, for example, what kind of format you use when you export that, right? For example, if you export a TIFF file, or if you export a DNG file or a PNG file, it's lossless. But if you export a JPEG file, then if you would do that and save a lot of times back and forward, always in JPEG, like you export it in JPEG, again, it gets compressed and compressed and recompressed, and you're going to see artifacts over time with that. Also, JPEG has 8-bit. That's a limitation, while I think DNG and TIFF have 16-bit. And I'm not sure. I think PNG also has 16-bit. I think you can switch there, right? PNG. More? How much bit does a PNG have? I'm not sure right now. We can look that up. PNG bit depth. What does it say here? Does anybody know? PNG supports palette-based images with palettes of 24-bit RGB or 32-bit RGBA colors, grayscale images, and full-color non-palette-based RGB images. I'm not completely sure about that. But apparently PNG is good for photo editing, and also DNG, which is an Adobe format. But Affinity Photo can handle that. So you can also, as you can see, you can export here in... no, it doesn't offer it. I thought it did. Photolab offers to export in DNG. But apparently Affinity Photo does not offer that. But you can export in TIFF if you want to, right? So that's possible. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, so we could technically remove that wristband. That shouldn't, let's see, that shouldn't be too much of a work. Let's make a second layer here and just use the in-paint brush to see how far we get with that. Make it a little bit bigger. Do we get a good result from that? Let's see. It's not too bad. Maybe make this a little bit bigger. Okay, and then we will also use this, like the stamp tool. Current layers are beneath. Let's zoom in here. Make this a little bit bigger. I should have done this before, but let's, make more opacity. And then also less hardness. Ooh, that's not good. Strange. Okay, that's better. Good. Let's go over here. That looks okay. Yeah. Is that okay? There's a little bit of a brightness difference here, right? Why is it? When you zoom in, you can't see it, but when you zoom out, there's a little bit of a difference here. That could also be the rendering in Affinity Photo. I don't know right now. Is it? I mean, you see here, it looks like it's actually the same, but then I zoom out and you have this like stripe here. Or maybe it's just me seeing that, but I don't know. Anyways, let's leave it like that. Okay, so from the last time, from the last video, what we can do here now is to play around a little bit with these ideas. First of all, by the way, let's have a look at cropping this. So let's think about the Instagram format, for example, and maybe crop it like this, 4x5, like so. Is that good? Kind of looks strange, right? Let's see. Or shouldn't we crop it? I hate that 4x5 format. It doesn't, I don't think like it looks good with anything. That's kind of, I'm not really a fan of that. Okay, anyways. PNG had 16-bit per color channel and 16-bit alpha, but it also, it is a lossless compression. Yeah, so that's kind of good if you do that. I often, when I go from Photolab to Affinity Photo, I often convert it to JPEG, but just for the reason that you just have less data and can work a little bit quicker. And also, like, it's the final point. I'm not going to do much more after that. So this is why I'm kind of sticking with that, basically, right? Okay, so let's do some stuff here. Okay, so last time we spoke about how to guide the attention. So we want to do a little bit of that right now. So what we are going to do is, like we said with the vignette, Let's create a dark brush here, like so. Make that a lot bigger. I can see I can paint in here. Let's zoom out here a little bit, reduce the opacity, and then I can just paint this in here into the background so we don't have these bright areas around her. Like so, and also down here. So we have a little bit more center focus around her. Okay. The good thing is also if you have these layers, you can also go here and just reduce the opacity if you feel like it was a little bit too much or so, right? So that's a good possibility to do that. Okay, so let's go. By the way, I don't like the like this is a plastic ear, as you can see, so this doesn't look very good. So we want to fix that a little bit. Maybe also have a little bit of a texture on there. We could try maybe to use this and then just overlay it on the ear. Let's do that real quick. So I will just select here part of her like forehead, copy that over, and let's see if we can do something with that. Let's experiment with that a little bit. Let's bring this over here like so. And then, for example, if we multiply that, is that interesting? Okay. Let's adjust this a little bit here. Okay. Let's maybe create a mask on that. So a better idea. Whoops, that's too big. Come on. Okay. Yeah, let's go like this. Whoops, that was a bit too much. Nope. And I would say that already looks a lot better than before. I'm not happy with this part though. Maybe if we reduce the opacity here. What am I looking at right now? Is that the brush? Yes, okay. Nope, that's too big. There we go. I would say that's already pretty good. Boom. So we have an ear that has a lot more of the color than like before, like skin color, a little bit of skin texture also. And of course we can go more into detail with all the, what do you say, dodge and burn to give it more structure. But for now, that seems to be pretty okay. There is always this problem up here with the hair. Should we fix that right now, or should we like, I should have fixed that before, like not in this version, because then I have to do it afterwards again. Should we, did I save that as a preset? No, I didn't. I mean, it's very similar to the preset I did before. Okay, let's just work on this. And then we can make another version. Or maybe also work from that version. That would also be good. Okay. Let's see. Let's make a selection here. And then I'm also going to have a look at the chat again. 1 second. Let's maybe blur this a little bit. Selection feather. Let's make this a little bit softer. And then copy this over. What does the chat say? I missed the start of the stream. What happened to the picture you began last week? I kind of feel insecure about that, so I changed it over to this picture. I got so nervous about that. I don't know. I get really nervous about my own pictures. A lot more nervous than when I edit other pictures from Unsplash. And so I was like, I need to show something that's really good, and that's not really good. I don't feel happy with that. So I kind of decided let's do something. Let's use a picture that I feel a lot better with, right? And so this is why we are at this picture right now. I should come back to the other picture at some point, but yeah. Let's see if we can, like, why doesn't this move in here? Come on. Should I put this more forward, like so? Is that okay? Or should we just liquefy that and then just push it in a little bit more? Let's try it like this. Okay, so what we need now is an eraser here, and then go like this and reduce the opacity and reduce the hardness, and then maybe make it a little bit bigger like so. And you see, you just erase the outsides until it's, oop, that was too much, until it's blending softly, and then you just can't tell which is like the original and which is not. So that's kind of easy. The front here is like not that cool. Let's have a look here. Make this sharper. More opacity again. Then just soften this a little bit. And there we go. Okay. There's a little bit of stuff sticking out here, but you know what? I'm going to copy this part here. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm gonna copy this part. And then I'm simply going to liquefy that part and just push this in a little bit with a smaller brush. Smaller. Even smaller. Come on. There we go. Let's push this in a little bit. And this should be fixed now. Let's see. Looks good enough. You see? There's a little bit sticking out here. And now it's not sticking out anymore. We still have this thing here, but that, never mind about that. I could use the same higher patch on the other side, maybe. Let's duplicate this and then just flip this over. Which I can't do right now. I don't know why. Now it works. Okay, good. Let's see if we just put this over here. Does that work? Please. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Or I would say that's good. That seems good. This is a little bit like up here. We have a little bit of trouble here, but we can fix that. I know that this is blown out here, so that's not completely ideal, but that's okay for now. Let's see, which is this? This is that, okay. So let's just go with the current layer and then just copy a little bit of this over here. Reduce the opacity. There we go. Boom, fixed. Oh, it's very like sharp up here, right? Should we fix that part too? What are you saying? The photo was very nice. The only thing that was the shadow over the arm. Yes, that was the problem. And I was thinking I was going to fix that, but then I didn't research that. So I was thinking, and I wanted to show you a good result today, right? So I was thinking I'm rather going to do this. Let's copy this real quick, duplicate. And then let's see if we move this over here. Maybe like so. And then erase all the rest here. Ooh. Is that better? Wait a second. There seems to be some stuff here that's still here that shouldn't be here. Now it's better. Okay, good. Let's duplicate this up here. That doesn't really work. Okay, so never mind that. Let's make a new layer here. Sorry, I'm getting into too much detail right now because we should rather play around with different looks. Whoa, no global source. Current laser below, current laser beneath. Yes, there we go. So let's just make this a little bit wider here. Whoa, sorry. There we go. Now it's very wide up there. Okay. Anyways, I think that's good. I think we want to just push this up a little bit more. So I'm gonna make another selection here, like so, and then just liquefy that. Let's deselect that. No, cancel, deselect. Thank you very much. Push this up here. What is happening right now? This is the wrong area. What? 1 second. Make a selection here. That's too small. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, good. So when I copy this, that is that area. Let me move this around a little bit. There's this other area here already. Ooh, okay, interesting. Let's pull this back and then just put it like this on top of the other one. And then, yeah, there we go. That is much better. Okay, so now we have got rid of that kind of crazy shadow there. So that's a lot better. Okay, now something else is happening. 1 second. The problems keep popping up. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay. All right, so let's not get sucked up by all of the little details and think a little bit more about the looks that we can work on. The photo was very nice. Okay, right, already read that. By the way, use the chat to write something so we can talk. Okay, so let's think about what we talked about last time in the in my last tutorial, sorry. Okay, so what I'm gonna do here is let's create here an unsharpened mask for this and then adjust the radius to sharpen all of this, although we can't see it right now. Let's go in here. Should we go 100%? No, that's we should usually you go to 100% when you use this, but if we do that, we don't see anything anymore. So this is adding a little bit more detail. It's too much. Let's go like this. So we have a little bit more crispness here. That's good. Okay. All right. By the way, we also need an overlay for the skull. Damn it. Should we leave it like that? I think for that look, that skull is actually not too bad. Okay, anyways. So we have created this now. And now I'm going to invert that layer so it's not visible anymore. And then we can paint in the effect again with white on here. And so I just want to highlight some areas. So you can see I can, for example, make the lips a little bit more crisp and the eyes up here, this kind of area here. And then what else do we want to have? Maybe these areas here a little bit. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, it just changes a little bit, you see? The lips are getting a little bit more crisp, a little bit more detail. So that's pretty good. Okay. Right. Just to highlight that it's like rather small change in this case. So let's go with some other changes here. For example, what we could do with white balance is so we can look at the background to make that a little bit more. That's actually pretty cool. To make it a little bit cooler, let's see the complete picture here. I kind of like also when the hair is more blue. Whoa, what's happening right now? Was there some pop-up? What was that? Something happened, but I don't know what. Anyways, okay, let's have a look here. So this would make the hair and everything a little bit bluer. So we can use that. Let me see. And I kind of don't want to have it on the body too much. Okay, so let's take a brush here and then we go to black and we make this brush bigger like so. More opacity, hardness a little bit lower. And then you can see I can paint this in here on the face. So the colors in the face are coming back. And we can also do this over here a little bit on the hands. Okay, so you can see that the hair and everything is a little bit cooler, but the face still is warm. We can do it also over here on the ear. I will paint on all of the ear, and you can see that this also affects the hair. So what we're going to do is to simply switch over to white, and then I'm going to have a harder brush and also maybe a smaller brush. And then I can simply paint this out again for the areas I don't want to have. You can also make a selection if you want to. So there's different ways to do that. I like the feeling of painting in my my masks. I feel like it gives me more control, has a bit more of this kind of painter quality to it. But you can do it another way if you feel like it's better another way. So that's pretty interesting. Okay. And then I'm really like always drifting towards having a dark background, but I know that my pictures are usually getting too dark, so maybe I should not do that. By the way, what we can do, this is something I didn't show you yesterday. What you can do is let's make another of these layers here, and you can set this to saturation. And now if you, down here, blend mode, because people said, hey, what are these blend modes down here? And you can see now, if I would use a brush with white on that, and let's make the brush a little bit bigger, like so. And you can see if I paint here in that area, it gets desaturated, right? So that's pretty interesting. And if I do that more, it's going to be black and white. And of course, what I can do with that is that I can then simply, for example, make the background less saturated. I can paint on these areas here. Let's reduce the opacity, and then just go here in these areas like so. Okay, and then let's take the eraser here, make it a little bit bigger. Erase that here, so we don't, like, we want of course the skin to be normal, not to be affected by that. So as we go, you can see that when you look, for example, here in that area, you can see it here well, that this would be like bright orange right now, and then I click on this to turn on the saturation, and so this has been desaturated. So I kind of have a vignette around her that is desaturated, and then we have more color in the center. As you can see, this brings a lot more focus also to her in the center, right? So that can be interesting to do that. We can call that saturation. All right, okay, cool. I didn't fix that area, don't mind about that. And also we have these kind of wildly flying hair here, didn't fix that either. So it's more about the look right now. Because it would take forever to fix all these kind of little details here. I don't want to bore you with that. So let's just work more on the look, right? Okay. So I would say let's save this as look 1. Let's go and save this. So we have like a medium state here. What do we call it? This, no, wait, Skull Girl look 1. Okay, good. Okay, so now we can play around with that more. Okay. So everybody's listening, say something. Use the chat, please. Okay. We can also play around with these overlays here. This is another thing I want to do today. as, let's put this on here. And then, for example, from my autumn gradients, which right now I can't remember what pack that was. I created something with autumn in the name. And wait, where's the gradient? Here we go. Radial. Let's reverse that like so. And then we can do this soft light like so. And you can see that this is actually pretty interesting. This kind of thing. So that's like, and this is what I mean, like you prepare that stuff a little bit and then you play around with the other elements to get different kind of looks. And this is nice because you have the separation between the orange tones and the and these blue tones that we have created right now just with the gradient, just with soft light. Could you try to blacken the leaves at the skull so they look more Gothic style? That's an interesting idea. We can play with that. We can do that. Let's have a look at that. I will turn this off for a second, and then I will simply make a black and white adjustment here. Black and white. And then we can play around with, let's see, what does, there we go. So this affects them, as you can see, that makes them darker. This also makes them darker. No. Okay. And so now we have that. We can again go to layer invert. Like so. So it's applied to nothing. And then again, you simply take your brush and just paint that in the areas where you want to have that. Let's go here to, whoops, that was the wrong one. Go to white here, and you can see I can now simply paint that onto these areas or select them. That would also be nice, right? Maybe that's a better idea to do that. Let's take the smart brush here, sorry, the selection brush, and just select these areas here. Does that actually work? No. We have to go here. That's better. That is a lot better. Okay, good. Refine. This is background here. Okay, let's apply that. And then I go back here to my black and white adjustment. And now I can simply paint that in because I have created a selection. So I can simply go like this. And now we basically have black and white leaves here. Like so. Boom. They have a little bit of an edge. But you know what I mean. So you would have to make the selection a little bit more precise, I guess. And you can also like play around with the blend modes here on that. You see, with the black and white filter, you can do really interesting things with that. What does multiply, for example, makes it nice and darker. And you can also change the opacity. So you have that kind of green, but you just like make it darker. So that's also an interesting way to play with that. That's actually not too bad. We can leave that. I'm just not happy with the selection that this has created, but what you can do here is simply, no, not simply. There we go. Hold Control, click on the layer, and this will then select the selection again. And now we can go in here, as you can see, like this. And I can go to Select, Grow, and I can grow this a little bit like so. And then I can go here, and I can feather this a little bit to make it softer, like so. Apply. And now I could, for example, use my brush again and see if I can paint in these areas. Does this actually, yeah, this is the same thing. It's kind of sticking out a little bit around. Like the refine is, well, it could be better, as you know. Anyways, good. So now when we deselect that, this should be a little bit better. Boom, there we go. Of course, I mean, this little brightness we have here also stems from this being not actual leaves, but like fabric material leaves. And so this is like they are colored from the outside. It's not the fabric, but it's just color printed on them, I guess. And this is why then they are bright on the inside, and that makes a little bit of a problem. But that's actually cool. That looks pretty good. I like that. So that's before, it's after. It's kind of nice. I enjoy that. Okay, cool. And we can combine this. Let's see how it combines with the blue. Actually, not too bad. That's actually pretty interesting. Another thing, by the way, that I would suggest to you is, wait a second, 2020 watching, if you're trying. Ah, okay, Chrysalis, show. Subscribe today. Yeah, thank you very much. Remind the people to subscribe. That's pretty good. Thank you. I'm curious. I appreciate that there will be many ways to doing the same thing. However, how would you personally darken her eyebrows? That's a good question. I mean, you could do it with dodge and burn, or you can like do it with an adjustment layer, for example, levels or contrast or stuff like that. So that would be possibilities for that, right? By the way, she right now also has these bags under the eyes, so we can fix that with frequency separation. Should we do that real quick? We could. I don't think that's in an area that's problematic, so let's do this. Wait a second. I will duplicate this layer so we don't run into problems afterwards. Let's do this. By the way, what's the time? 1 hour 13. Okay. Let's see. So here we have a frequency separation. Make the radius like so. That's good. Okay. And then we should be able to simply use a brush and then, I can't pick the colors because of all the other layers. Yeah, we are gonna move this up to the top layer so everything else is hidden. And now, no, yes, now, good. And so now I can pick a color here. Let me see here. There we go. Let's pick this color here, or maybe this one over here. And then let's see if that works or not. Reduce the opacity, reduce the hardness, less opacity even, and then we paint this in a little bit. There we go. And magically, those brighter areas are gone. You have to be a little bit careful not to overdo it because you're very quickly in an area where the face is just super flat. So don't paint out all of the shadows. Just paint out the shadows that are actually necessary to be done. And here we might want to have a selection for that because otherwise we are going to paint into the nose and stuff like that. Let's do it like that. Is that not good? Let's see. Feather. Let's make this a little bit softer. And then I'm going to shrink this a little bit because I selected too much. That looks good. Let's have a look at we can work with that. By the way, if you want to be super secure and not be destructive with that, you can make a layer in between your low frequency, high frequency layer and paint on that, because then you also have the added benefit that you can use the eraser to just erase areas. Let's, for example, undo this, what I have done here. And I can just delete the layer. Anyways, so you can see, because this is now an extra layer, I can simply paint on all of this until I'm happy. And then I can use my eraser brush and just erase the parts that I don't like. So this is a lot safer to do it like that. And of course, you can also then afterwards, you can see, like I can just paint this out. Let's make this here a lot softer. So you have a lot more options also, rather than a selection, which is rather fixed. As you can see here, kind of looks strange now. Is that maybe not the right color that I'm using here? One second. Make this bigger. Oops. Okay. Reduce the opacity. 1 second. Almost done here. Yeah. Kind of looks strange still. One moment. I'm not happy. I see what's going on here. So this is a line. We have that line in the frequency separation. So that is what's happening here. Hi, Fernando. So I can't fix it because it's on the other side. So I have to fix it over here. And now the question is if we can do that. We have to do that with a gray value though. Let's go to 50% here roughly. That's better. There's still this part here. Can we also fix that up a little bit? Nope, that wasn't good. Okay, I'm getting too obsessed with details right now. Again, I don't want to waste all that time. We want to do some creative stuff. So let's leave it like that for now. The face is a little bit flat right now, I feel like. Okay, let's group this and then rasterize this. And so now we have a normal layer again. And then I can move this down again. Like here. So this is, how we call it, dark spots fixed. You could also like just erase everything else and just keep these areas that you fixed. That looks a little bit strange now. Anyways, okay. Good. Die Nasenhaare, die rausgucken, müssen noch weg. The nose hair? There's nose hair? Ah, yeah, a little bit, right? Yeah. No, I don't want to fix all the little details. I rather want to go over the artistic looks, because all this stuff here is a long process to go through, all this kind of stuff, and we just want to go more about the artistic looks. And then I fix these little details in the time after the stream. And the good thing is, because all the other layers are on top of that, if I fix it in this picture here, it's fixed in the other versions too, if you know what I mean. So for example, just to show you, if I go here now, and then let's see if that works, but it should work. If I fix this, yeah, of course it doesn't work right now. Let's go with this one here. Make this a little bit smaller, even smaller. Huh? Oh, sorry. This is not the size of the brush. Okay, I was kind of confused what's going on here. Okay, there you go. So you can see if I fix this, because I'm fixing this in the background picture, the adjustments I do on the other layers don't have an impact on that. So I can fix that here later on. That's not too much of a problem, right? As long as I don't copy anything over these areas and then try to adjust like the brightness in the background, stuff like that, right? Okay, let's delete this again. The area between the sky, yeah, we have to fix that also, but for now it's good. I feel for now it's okay. Okay, so we have this kind of blue and orange look right now that we can look at. What else could we do here? By the way, let's go up here and we can go through these different looks. Let's see if this changes over to radial again, or if it keeps, or if it changes to linear or changes to radial again. Well, it doesn't do anything. Oh, okay. Doesn't do anything either. What is going on right now? There we go. Is it? Yeah, it's of course it's linear again. So that's one of the problems in Affinity also, that the gradients save the style of the gradient. And there's like, if they I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no setting where you can apply the gradient without changing the gradient settings from this radial, elliptical, all these kind of things. It always changes to the format the swatch is saved in, and that's kind of annoying. I don't know if it changed the origin point. No, the origin point is still the same, so that's good. But you have to go through here and then again switch this back to radial and maybe reverse it also like so. So that's a little bit of a hassle. Those are all not fitting here. No, but the blue one is nice. So let's go again to radial, and then we want to reverse that. So we have this blue center. And then I kind of feel like the color is not great. Like the color is nice, but it's too, the blue is too happy. Let's say it like that. The blue is too blue. We can probably have a balance, color balance adjustment to that. 1 second. By the way, this is something I learned from one of my viewers. I have to make a video about that. Look at that. If I have this adjustment layer here and then I pull it down here, you can see that this changes the blend mode, and this is one of the problems I pointed out in the video that I created about the problems that Affinity Photo is having. But a very hidden option I've never seen after doing 300 videos about Affinity Photo is that you can move your mouse a little bit up here and that it creates this tiny blue box here, and this for some reason is another way to attach it to the layer, and then the blend mode is fixed. So you don't have to go to the erase blend mode right now. This works with the normal blend mode, which is like as really very hidden. They could make that a lot more obvious. Hey Emily, thank you for supporting my channel. Thank you very much. Welcome to the secret sauce. You're now a secret sauce master, basically. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so we can open this up here, and then we should be able to play around with the colors or not. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it does it a little bit. Maybe we should have used the... What is that? I'm sorry, I'm confused about the different sounds that my stream is making. What time do we have? Oh, we should do the review. So this only changes a little bit, so maybe I should have the selective color. But you can see how this changes the blue. And let's zoom in here a little bit more so you can maybe see that a little bit better. So when I turn this off like right now, the blue is nice, but it's a little bit too, how can I say, too happy blue. You know what I mean? Like child blue, like this kind of toy blue. And this adjustment, like moving it a little bit over, you can see this is more like a little bit of an ice blue, a colder blue, a little bit sadder blue, a little bit more muted blue. So it feels more like fitting to this, right? To her and to her character. And these colors also, they have a lot of influence on what the expression of the image is, right? Is it like a happy situation or a darker situation or a moody situation? And you have different shades of blue that express different kind of feelings of situations. So that's kind of interesting to look into these things. And I would really suggest, if you do that again, like I always do, to look at Pinterest and color pick from these from the colors that they are using here, right? Because you can see here, for example, we have these there. This is a good example. We have 3 different pictures here with 3 different kind of blues in here, basically. So this is a very different blue from this one, which is more like well, how would you say, turquoise, aqua blue, more in the green area. And this here is again another, this is more like a ghostly green blue, right? It's actually more green than blue, but you know what I mean. So it has different kind of expressions just from the color that it is using. So that's kind of interesting too. This again, here's another blue, more of a gray blue, and this makes it really interesting. You can also pick these colors. You can see I can put this to the side here. Maybe, well, that's kind of hard to do. But what we can do here, let me show you real quick. I can copy this over to Affinity Photo, like so. Let me do this like so. Okay, good. And then what you can do is you simply pick one of these colors here. Let's make a rectangle here, for example, like so. And then let me pick one of these colors here, like this, for example. And then you can apply that. You can see now I have the same color. You can also use the color picker over here. The benefit here is that you can set the radius, and you can, for example, you can have a little square that is 17 by 17 pixels. So when I click here, I get more of a medium value from that, right? And you can apply that. Is that? Yeah, you can see this is automatically applied, by the way. So you get medium values from that. You can also make it bigger, like 65 by 65. The one downside I don't like about this tool is you don't get a preview of that little box, so you don't know how big that is. You don't know. But you can see that here a little bit, what kind of value you get from that. And of course, then you can use that and apply that to your picture. Let's go here, for example, and do it with soft light. Well, doesn't do too much here right now. Let's go, for example, to hue, which again doesn't. Well, it does something in the face. Color. Man, the color is working a little bit. But you can apply it. This is what I mean by that. You can apply it to the other picture, right? So let's bring this up here again. So you can basically kind of steal these colors and then just like put it onto the other picture and see what kind of moods you get from that, right? Let's go here and, for example, make this into a gradient. Let's take this one over here and then select the darker value down here, like so. And then we make this radial, like so, and reverse it. So we have, you can see here the preview that now the dark parts are on the outside. Pull this down here over everything. Turn this off. I'll turn the other version off that I've created, this other blue that I'm using. And let's see where the origin point is. It's over here. That's not good. We want to have it here in the center, like so. And then let's see, for example, if we now put it to soft light, what does this do? Yeah, it's actually not too bad. You can see how this kind of gray influences the values here in the back. So that's interesting. You can work with that and see what kind of different values you get. Of course, maybe that wasn't the best example because it's kind of a very mood, like gray blue, but you know what I mean. And you can like sample from that and apply that to the picture, right? All right. This has been explained by James Ritson on Serif in his tutorial videos on YouTube. Not sure how this name is. I see. Yes, the official guy from Affinity Photo. Hi, Pink. How are you doing? Thanks for joining. The area of hair between... Okay, I've already read that. Yeah, so you can play around with that. Sorry, we already... It takes so much time to just adjust pictures and play around with that. Sorry. I feel like to finish one picture we go like through a ton of streams, so maybe that's not the best concept. And also this takes me longer to do because I have to talk through every process I'm doing, and at the same time when you do the talking you get like slower by doing that. And also you're not in the flow, in the zone where you just like do like tick 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 all these different steps. You constantly jump between different things, and that also like makes the process a lot slower than it usually would be. Okay, let's save this. Let's save this as second look, so we don't use the other one. Don't lose the other one. Oh wait a second. I need to turn the other one off again. This is the second one, right? Okay, let's save this. So, I don't know. We have to think about the concept of the stream. Anyways, let's go to the Facebook group real quick and make the review of this week's challenge, because we are hitting the 2-hour mark already. And I don't want it to be too long. Okay, there we are. Let's close this down here. And there we have the challenge already. That's very nice. Good. So this time we had this black and white challenge. Sorry for the hard transition right now. Do you do any retouching involving products, jewelry, vehicles, etc.? Not really, no. I I mean, product photography is interesting also, but that's another complete area that's very complex to go into. I want to do more, also some stuff about photography in my videos, where I explain different kind of things that you can do with the camera and the light and all these kind of things, and also concepts of why certain things are photographed in a different way, or what leads to different kind of photographs, like you see a picture, but actually the one photo of a room, for example, is made from 15 different photos. And I don't mean HDR, I mean an effect like we have like this one from this kind of tutorial that I've been giving. This one, where is it? There we go. This one here, where you just construct different kind of areas with the lighting and the character it should have and the colors it should have in the picture, stuff like that. And this is why you shoot so much. And you can light, for example, you can light the room completely different and then put the model in the room and light the model completely different than the room and get kind of a separation like that, stuff like that, right? Anyways, okay. Sorry. So this is about this kind of black and white effect where you process the same picture in different black and white looks, and then you blend them together with masks that have gradients on them, right? And so because of that, what you can do is to completely change the appearance of the building. And this has this very, like, how can I say, this fine art look that makes the building more into a sculpture and is very expressive, has a lot of character, and it's really, it would be maybe impossible or very hard to actually photograph it like that. Okay, so this is the first one by Carl. My try, I think it's a bit too much. It has more of a comic quality, like comic book quality. What's the famous one in this Dark City? This kind of noir movie that is based on a comic strip, on a comic book by a very famous writer. I can't remember. It was a cinema movie some years ago with the main characters are like a really bulky detective. I can't remember, but it looks a little bit like that because it's very intense. These white lines are here, very bright white lines, but that's okay because, and this is the interesting thing here. I feel like this kind of editing is so extreme in a way that you go completely away from just photographing something and you go a lot more into expressing something. You want to show something, you want to say something with the picture. So, and this is a completely different quality of photography, and is also different in the sense that this is why, for example, you can do this a lot better with black and white photography because here you only have very limited values and you can focus on that. If you would do the same thing in color, you would be completely like, how can I say, distracted by all the colors and textures and materials and stuff like that. But if you take the colors away, often you don't know what kind of material that is you're looking at, right? So that makes it a lot more focused on the structures, on the patterns in there. Sin City, yes, that's it, Sin City. Yeah, Gotham also was pretty cool, but Sin City is the one that's based on the comic book. You should look at the comic book. I can't remember who drew that, but he did some really cool art. He also made the comic book version of 300 that the film is based on. So yeah, pretty awesome. Have a look at that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool work. I really like that. Also the kind of moving clouds in the background is pretty cool, and it's very, very dark up here, complete night situation, which is also nice. You can completely change the daylight situation. I feel like this is more of a nighttime situation, so that's really cool. I really like this kind of very expressive picture where you look at it and it's like it's telling you something, not just looking through a window at something that's out there, but like just a complete different world. Let's go to the next one by Wolfgang. Ah, wow, with the moon. Okay, cool. Unfortunately, I haven't managed to set the white lines so that it looks good. Doesn't matter. That's okay. Don't worry about that. You can use the white lines. You don't have to. It's just like I wanted to point that out, that possibility in my video. I still have to practice a lot, although it is so well explained. Okay, thank you. In Olivia's video, it also looks simple. It means practice. It's surprising because I also did that for the first time, to be honest. But it's at the same time easy to apply that, and it's hard if you want to get really specific. And of course, like if you look at the other channel that I've linked under the video, that guy is really good at that. So that's really cool what he's doing. But I really like that you have put the moon here and then the clouds, and the clouds also are very structured, very intense from the quality, very like harsh light on them too. And it feels like this is actually moonlight hitting the building. So again, like this was a daylight picture, now it's a nighttime picture. I really enjoy that these areas here are also completely dark. It's kind of dystopian, very like harsh. It's nice. It looks really interesting. Frank Miller, yes, that's the guy. Have a look at his comic books or his drawings that you can find online. Also, always a really good inspiration for photography is to look at other art styles, what other like painters and comic artists and writers and everybody's doing out there, to just see their different styles and their different kind of expressions, right? So really cool. I really like that. Very interesting work. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And some here also have like involved some color. Oh, there's a second. No, I have already looked at that. Sorry. Ah, okay. Here's another one by Andreas. I only used Affinity Photo and only used the original picture. Did some work with the sky with brushes. I only had 2 hours. Wow. Okay. So he took a lot on time of that. So in my opinion, it's not quite finished, but here is my take on it. Yeah, but it's always the case that you feel like there could be more work. So that is done just in Affinity Photo, which is also nice. It's a lot softer, as you can see, compared to the picture before. So this is has more like a dreamy quality. I feel like the background is very much moving. This is why I did some motion blur on mine and then also did some Gaussian blur, because you have the feeling like, because of this has these strong lines in there, that the building is moving, like it's like a spaceship flying through the sky or something. And I think the reason why it looks like that is because these lines that you see here, they indicate a very fast movement. And when you think about it, for example, clouds, when you make a long time exposure, they not only move from one side to the other, but they also have this kind of like fog is doing, like any kind of gas is doing, is constantly moving into different shapes. So it's not just going over here, it's also doing like this at the same time. And so you get very blurry edges and stuff like that, right? That's my picture. I really like the challenge. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I really like that challenge too. There's some really interesting results in there. But if you want to do these kind of lines and this kind of speed in there, you can also do that, right? I feel like because today we have a lot of art forms that are very abstract, we have less of these real world or like touching the real world philosophical concepts, right? So in the past we had stuff like futurism, and we had Dadaism, and we had what did Dali do? Based on dreams. Sub something. What is it called? What do you do? You know what I mean. Anyways, so. And you could connect to that because these were concepts that you could like think about and say, yes, the future is moving. It has machines in it. It's fast. It's destructive, stuff like that. That puts a picture into your head. While today we have so much very abstract art forms that don't really give you something to put yourself into. It's not a world. There's not a world being created by that, right? And so I feel like these very expressive art forms, they have that more. You can look at that picture and you see a certain world concept that you can connect to. It's a little bit like watching or looking at a science fiction scene or something, and you can like imagine how it would feel like to live in that world, right? So that's interesting. Here's another one from Arthur. Oh, okay, interesting. Softer values, very nice. Here's mine, didn't use Nick Collection. You didn't use I thought you did, because that looks a lot like Nick Collection from the values. Just Affinity. Also use clouds that were already in the picture, not a replacement, and slight color gradient. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's also good. This is also something like you should experiment with if you do a black and white picture and then bring in a little bit of color. So it's still black and white, but it has a little taste, just a taste of a little bit of something different, like a little bit blue, a little bit brown, something like that. And this suddenly gives it completely different quality, but still looks like a black and white picture. So that's pretty interesting. I like that. It's very soft. It's very like more playful. Also, of course, you change the angle of the building, but that feels more like a still science fiction kind of, but that's kind of the building structure, but more like a bit more romantic, if you know what I mean, a bit more emotional, more feeling in that. So that's interesting to have that kind of difference in the picture just through how you edit that. So that's, I really enjoy how many things you can do with just one picture, right? Press the like button if you enjoy. Oh, thank you very much, Chris Celia. Thank you. Surrealism, that's it. Surrealism. Yes, absolutely. And the thing about that is these concepts, they made art very playful, where you can do something even as a private person with these concepts and just sink into them, you know, and evolve with them in a certain way, right? If you look at surrealism, and surrealism was a lot more than these kind of candy, sugary Dali paintings. If you look at exhibitions from surrealism, there's a lot of dystopian stuff in there, very dark stuff in there, from nightmare dreams. Not everything is this kind of happy colored thing that Dali was doing. There's a lot of other stuff in there. Also writing, look at surrealist poetry, surrealist novels, stuff like that. Really, really interesting works. And they also had there's an episode from, oh God, what is it called? This kind of BBC show where they try to guess something, and they talk a little bit about surrealism. And they said there was one artist made a restaurant, I think in Paris or something, and it was a surrealist restaurant where you had this kind of specific food where, for example, they would give you would eat something, and at the same time you were stroking with one hand. With the one hand you were eating, with the other hand you were stroking a bit of tarmac, and then the waiter was blowing you with perfume. So you have a smell and you have this kind of texture on the hand and stuff like that. And that's super interesting, and we don't do that anymore because everything is this kind of abstract stuff you can't do anything with. But these concepts were really interesting. And now the funny thing is we have a product right now, I can't remember what it's called, that is using this kind of concept where you are drinking water, and then around the outlet where you drink from, they have a ring that smells like something. So for example, if it smells like orange, you feel like you're drinking orange juice, although you just drink water. And this, because of that, you save calories, but we taste with our noses. So that's really interesting. And I feel like this connected. If they would have done more development and this surrealism concept of society, they would have found a lot of different other things, like we also find with VR and all these kind of other stuff. Anyways, I'm talking too much. Let's go on. Daniela, did you not, was it not, wait, what did you say? I can't get the photo. Did it not work for you, or maybe you posted something later on? I don't know. Because the link worked for me, I think it still works. Let's go here. We transfer. Yeah, it does. You can see here you have this download link. Download the zip file. I put 3 different pictures in there, or 2 different pictures. I can't remember. It was the building and the sky and maybe something else. What was the last picture I was looking at? This from Shadi. So he also used some color, which wasn't exactly the exercise, but still. Okay, why not? Gave it a try with some color, used white balance, shadow and highlights, and white line accents on sky, HSL and radial blur curve, overall a gradient color to a color dodge. Ah, interesting. Okay. And it's interesting how in some areas you get these very intense colors here, and then suddenly it jumps over into like a very dark black gradient, which is not, it looks a little bit like a posterized effect because of that. That could probably be because of you use color dodge instead of soft light. So that's reacts harder with some backgrounds, and you get these kind of harder edges that look like this posterized effect. But it's still cool. It's interesting. It's a dreamy effect. I decided it was too bright, so I toned it down. Ah, okay. So you made a second version. Let's have a look at that too. Let's open this up. Ah, okay. Can we look at them side by side? Let's see. Open this up in a new tab. Oh, sorry. Open this up in a new tab. Yeah, the dark version is, I feel like the dark version is better. It's like this one is also good, but it's more like psychedelic, kind of this hippie kind of style from the colors, a little bit very expressive. I mean, would maybe be interesting as a cover for a music album or something like that. Hippie techno could be. That's what I associate with that, and that's kind of connects it a little bit better, I feel like, right? So that's very nice. Really cool. Also that the colors are a little bit more muted. Right, here's very colorful, very pink. And here it's more into the brown area, and that's nice. By the way, reminds me of drinking some coffee. There we go. Ah, wait a second. I'm thinking about something right now. What is the book? Let me look that up real quick. Surrealist poetry. Wait a second. Roses or flowers? Flowers? What is that book? You should read that book. I was just thinking about it. 1 second. I will just get my Kindle library here because that's something interesting to look into. 1 second. What do we have here? Ah, yeah. Okay. But what is the original title of that? Oh, signed me out for some reason. Ah, okay. Good. So this is the book, basically. I don't speak French. Le Fleur de Mal. Is that how you would pronounce that? It's in German, it's Die Blumen des Bösen. And I'm pretty sure you also get that in an English version. There we have the English version. There we go. No, it's still the same thing. So it's by, again, can't pronounce English, French, but it's Charles Baudelaire. Baudelaire, is that how you pronounce it? I'm sorry, I should know that, but I forgot about that. There is, I'm pretty sure there's a English version of that. What I would suggest to you is, however, that if you look at it at ebooks or something like that online, download samples of different books and compare the translation and the poetry, because some of them are incredibly bad, even from good publishing houses, and then others are a lot better and a lot more in the concept of what it means. And I haven't read the original. Like I said, I don't speak French, but if you, the way I do that is I look at different translations, and then the original has to be somewhere in the middle, you know? And so you get kind of what the author is trying to say through these different translations. And then you just pick the one where you feel like, okay, this has the best feeling compared to what you think the author is going to say or trying to say through that. And this is really interesting to read for poetry from surrealism. And I feel like this is helping a lot also when doing photography and when doing like art to get these kind of inspirations, different kind of backgrounds, right? Different kind of inputs of information. All right, Shari, pretty cool work, really interesting with the color in that. I like that. You also used in this case a motion blur that's more like a radial blur, so this is kind of turning, which is also interesting. Like I could really see this be a cover for a music album, right? In Poland. Ah, okay. Strange stuff. Yeah, they wrote The Flowers of Evil. That probably that's the right title, right? Let's have a look. The Flowers of Evil. There we go. Why doesn't it? Oh, no manga? No, that's not it. Okay. So have a look at that and see what kind of translations you can find from that. Yeah. So it's maybe interesting to look at, just saying. And as Kindle books, especially in English and stuff, they should be pretty cheap. Wow. Okay, wait, did we jump over something? No, this is the right one. Okay, this is by Nick. Didn't have too much time, too much spare time for this, but we'll post it anyway. Oh, it looks pretty good, I would say. Edited and developed in AP, in Affinity Photo. Pretty cool, I like it. So this also has color. I like how you use these brighter areas from the cloud to put them behind the darker areas of the building. To maybe first of all draw attention to this kind of outline of the building, and then also bring a contrast into that. Because if you would have this darkness behind here, it would maybe be harder to see it, especially if it's kind of this value here, which is very similar to that value, then it's kind of melting into the background. But here you have a very nice contrast around that. And yeah, looks really nice. I like also this brownish reddish color, which gives it a very soft and dreamy expression from the picture. Really cool, like that. Okay. Gimmick makes Affinity work so great with many new features. Yes, absolutely. If you get that to work, that is pretty cool. A lot of people had problems with that. Like I said, you download an older version of Gimmick and then see if that works. So thank you very much, Nick. Pretty cool version. Really enjoy that. Ah, wow. Okay. So this is from Niels. Interesting. So this is a very dry classic, like just black and white, like you would get it from the copy machine. And then you have these red areas in there, which really contrast to the rest and make it a lot more, I mean, in my eyes, this kind of dystopian dictator kind of feeling of a world that is like under some bad ruling or something. Of course, maybe because we have this association of white, red, and black to be like Third Reich colors, if you know what I mean. So I don't know if the rest of the world has this association, but here's like Austria, Germany, you very quickly have this connection from these color combinations. Maybe in the rest of the world that's a bit different. But it's interesting. Because, especially because you have these more dry and not colorful gray tones, and they are also on the building. How can I say? Everything is rather flat in that regard. It doesn't have this kind of landscape feeling that you have seen in the other pictures. It makes it more. It feels like. If I look at that, I feel more like the outside is not glass, but it's metal, you know, like aluminum sheets, for example, that are screwed to the outside of a building, stuff like that. So this looks more like a towering big machine that we are looking at. Interesting, right? I don't know. Let me know in the chat if you have the same impression from that or not, but it looks really interesting. It also has a quality of a drawing. It has this kind of graphite gray also, so that's interesting. Nice. Thank you very much, Niels. Pretty cool. Let's see what else we have here. This is from Francesca. Oh, it's a little bit small. Make sure that you upload in the right size or like a higher resolution, so we can look at it here in a bigger size. I upscaled it a little bit, so maybe it's a bit blurry on your screen now. It just only works for Windows. Yeah, that's the downside. That's true. I mean, on Mac, you have the ability to make a virtual PC and then install Windows and then have Affinity Photo there and Gimmick, but that's a lot of extra steps. Okay, let's talk about this here from Francesca. That's also very interesting. It kind of reminds me of the first entry we had with these very strong white lines here, but it's also still cool. There's a lot of contrast in this, where you have these very dark areas here, and then you have these very light areas here. So that's interesting that you chose to contrast it very hard here. And in these bright areas, you can see there is no gradients in there, which is also interesting that you decided to do that. And the interesting thing about the gradient is that if you look at a flat surface and then you bring it into an angle, the brightness of the different areas of the surface change. And so we kind of figure out the angle of the surface also by the darkness brightness gradient we have on the surface, right? I'm not sure if my hand is showing that, but I mean, you can see it here. Like this is like kind of parallel to the light that's coming from over there. So this is a lot brighter. And then if I go like this, the hand is starting to get darker, but maybe still is a little bit brighter up here and a little bit darker down here. While here it's a little bit more even lit. I'm not sure if that's visible or not right now. So if you don't do that, everything here looks a lot flatter. You can see like this surface here and this surface here, you can clearly see that this and this has a different angle, but they look like they are like this is running through rather flat, and maybe instead of this being in a different angle, these lines are simply going to the side. So it's rather the texture is going taking a turn rather than being in a different angle. So that's really interesting to see that. And it's also an interesting decision. And it compresses also the complete building a little bit. You can see that everything here looks a lot more together on one plane when you compare that to, for example, let's see, like this here. You can see here where you have these gradients, you can see like how this is going down here and this is going down here. And you can see that this is more like a roof, like so. And there's a lot more up and down in here compared to this that looks more flat because of that. But that's also interesting, right? So yeah, really cool. Thank you very much, Francesca. Is there something else we should say here? The sky in the background is very dark, but that fits to the concept you have here with these very dark areas here too. So everything, I would say that fits together well. So that's really interesting. Okay, let's go to the next one by Hippolyte. Again, interesting background here from the sky. You chose to use a lot of clouds in this case, and also rotate the angle of the building. So it's kind of laying flat on the ground. Last minute, I tried to follow the tutorial. Okay, interesting. Yeah, but still cool. Very nice. Yeah. And it's interesting that when you change the angle, I feel like this always looks a little bit more like a, how can I say, like a spaceship, right? Like it's actually flat and moving, stuff like that. So that's really interesting. Okay. So this is similar to the one we have seen before. Oh, and here we have another one. This is the last one already by Mike. And he chose to copy the building and then also have a different sky in there. So this is more like, as you can see, I feel like it looks like it's actually floating in the sky, this one. And because you put this one in a different angle than this one, you have like this structure is going like this. It looks like a much bigger landscape, maybe also a spacecraft, I don't know, but really a big landscape. You could almost imagine that there are some people walking down here. You know, it's a little bit of this Star Wars quality, or you kind of expect there's a little army standing down there, you know, like this landing scene where Darth Vader is landing on a Death Star, this kind of thing maybe. Really interesting. Pretty cool. I like how you integrated the sky back here with the perspective. That also, although it doesn't have a motion blur, it looks a little bit in motion because of the angles of the building, because it feels like they are turning a little bit like this, right? It's like a little bit rolling, right? So that's really interesting. Also, Affinity Photo can use all the free Flaming Pier plugins. Flaming Pier, I've never heard of them. Flaming Pier plugins. Let's have a look at that. Flaming Pier. Uh-huh. Okay. I have to look that up. Maybe that's that could be another. Oh, but it says free trials here, so it doesn't seem to be free. Purchase. Oh, well, it's not that expensive, but still. Oh, you have to buy all these kind of things. And then all the plugins are 153. Maybe there's also free versions of some of them, but it looks here like these are paid plugins. Do they have free versions? I have to check that out. I will just save them. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong effects here. Okay. Yeah, so that's basically it for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was interesting with the edit. Yeah, so see you in my next tutorials. So let's switch over here. We can talk a little bit still. We are 2 hours, but we can still talk a little bit back and forward. What else did I want to say here right now? Yeah, so the process is a lot longer than I expected with the portrait editing, because if I sit there and I'm concentrated on everything and I'm in the flow, it takes like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. Maybe spread out over 2 days or something, so you can just come back and look at it again. And so it's not as fluent as I would have expected it to be. And also I worry a lot more about my own pictures than about the pictures of other people. On Unsplash, so we have to see. Maybe we do streams on specific things that I'm fixing on these pictures, or we just do something else, like a classic composite with pictures from Unsplash, or something where I simply don't care too much about the details and just try to edit out something, like a sketch out an idea or something like that, right? By the way, I want to also build some stuff like these kind of designs for the hat. A lot of them are free, like 30 plugins. Okay, I have to check that out. I will show you this real quick. 1 second. I think I have already shown you that, but where is that? Headgear, where do we have that? 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Partner. Head pieces, there we go. So as you know, I want to do photo shoots where I have these very elaborate head pieces. Let me switch over here real quick. This kind of stuff here. I mean, this is like, wow, this is a drawing actually, but still pretty cool. Or this kind of stuff. Ooh. They built so cool stuff here, and I want to do stuff like that, but rather with flowers. This is also very nice with these butterflies here, and to build something like that, so I have to design that first, get some ideas, design that, order all that stuff, stick it together, and then do some photographs with that. This is also very nice here. So there's a lot of amazing stuff you can do. And we could also do a live stream about that, like this kind of designing process of these things, the kind of decision making. Look at that. Pretty crazy. And you can build these horns yourself. That's not too hard, what I've heard online. So yeah, that could be really interesting. Also, this is amazing. And that could be a live stream. So yeah. We have to figure that out, but I want to do more of my own art projects, show you that, and then also maybe give you the materials or turn that into a course or something like that, and see where the process can go. Right. Okay. I think we should maybe end it here because the stream is already getting pretty long. Okay. Go back, look on the product tabs. You'll see freebies. Okay, I will look there. Thank you very much. I will check that out. And see if maybe I do a video about that to show people some new effects, some new things they can do with Affinity Photo. All right. I would say thank you very much for your interest in the stream today. And let me find the end screen here and see you soon. Bye.